Good people of the world, you are listening and watching to Mondopreneur podcast. It's a podcast dedicated to people who try to find joy and try to inspire themselves, maybe spark some new ideas. The idea is to share stories from successful people from all over the world, whether they're entrepreneurs or they're working at universities, institutes, maybe in NGO sectors. This whole project is supported by US Embassy in Belgrade in Serbia. And thanks to them, we can actually share stories from people all over the world. I'm really privileged today because my today's guest is Anu, and she is a lady that has a powerful story. Not just a business side of her story, but also the personal side of her story, her life. And I'm just going to enjoy, and I hope that you're going to enjoy too. So hi, hello Anu, how are you?
I'm very good, Chandra, and I'm so happy to be here talking to you and looking forward to sharing my journey, because as I say that, it's journeys all over the world, the experiences, the ideas, where we can all help each other to grow, to feel inspired. So very happy to be here.
Thank you for your time. Really, and thank you for accepting this invitation to participate in this project, because I strongly believe that your story is powerful on both levels, like your personal life and your career as a businesswoman. So, can you tell us something about yourself? Like, I usually ask my guests to introduce themselves to listeners and viewers, like what is your educational background and how it correlates with the things that you do today. Is there any connection between your education and your career path, or is it something completely different? And I would also like to ask you if you can share some of your hobbies.
Yes, of course. It's always so exciting. We as humans love talking about ourselves. But however, let me say that I am Anu Chadha, and I belong to India. I believe that our lives are incredible shows where we are our destiny's author. Mm-hmm. I run a fashion company in India. If people out there know that Delhi is the capital, and my workplace is on the outskirts of Delhi. It's in a place called Gurgaon, which is growing as one of the big cosmopolitan cities. Mm-hmm. And I became a late entrepreneur in life. When I say late entrepreneur, my journey of entrepreneurship started at age 45. Mm-hmm. So I'll tell you a little bit prior to that what I did. I did my schooling in Delhi, and then I graduated from a university in India. It was called the Punjab University, and I was in a boarding college up in the hills. The place was called Sacred Heart, and the moment I say it, I still can feel the lovely breeze there, the beauty of the whole infrastructure, and my lovely friends. Gradually in life, once I did my graduation, since I belonged to a business family, so there was no mentorship in the way. There was nobody to mentor me to what should be my next steps. And I would say that I didn't know enough, because I was studying in a boarding college, and it was a pretty closed environment. So it was more of a finishing school. However, I did English literature and psychology, and these two things have held me in very good stead in my life. Mm-hmm. So let's say education, yes, it's one of the most important, most primary things. And if you can do what you like, that's how your roadmap emerges. So once I passed out from my college with a normal graduation degree, I got married. It was an arranged marriage, because back in the late 80s, early 90s, in India, there were a lot of arranged marriages. So I'm a product of one of them. And I would say that it wasn't the best of decisions, because I was not professionally qualified. And life is a mixed bundle of what is going to happen. And I wasn't geared up for that. So I had a very difficult marriage, from which I could not, or I would rather say I did not know how to get out of. And so I was married in a very wealthy family, and from day one I knew that it was going to be a tough time. But however, I also knew that my in-laws, and because, like I said, it was an arranged marriage, so it's not just you are marrying the guy, you're actually marrying the whole family. So I was told that the day I step out, I would get no child support. I had 2 daughters, and so it took me 12 long years to actually make a decision of coming out. And there also, I would say, it's serendipity. It was more like things which came in front of me, and I could somehow take the step and leave my husband and my in-laws family with 2 small children, girls, and my little dog, who was as old as my younger daughter. And from there, we started a new roadmap, and we wrote, I would say, I tried to do my best in whatever I understood, and worked hard, and I'm able to realize a lot of my dreams. Yes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's wonderful, because it's very hard, and it's very difficult even now in 2021 to just make that kind of a decision and leave everything behind and go into something completely new, especially if you don't know what to expect, especially if you are not financially stable, like you don't have a job or you don't have a company or whatever. So it's actually a very brave act. What you did, it's a powerful and brave act. Can you tell us something? How did you spend the last year, the COVID year? Although it's still COVID year, but the last year was, it hit us all at simultaneously. The whole world stopped. So how is it for you? How is it for your business?
So COVID is kind of, I would say, it was something which was unprecedented, unheard of. Now that I study and read more about, pandemics and, such events, I realize that every 100 years, the world faces something like that. So, but I would say that unlike other pandemics which happen, which are more city-specific or country-specific, pandemic has been an equalizer. Mm-hmm. It has taught us that, it's got nothing to do with your status. It's got nothing to do with your color, your gender, which country you belong to. It's first world or third world. So pandemic is something which is just all over. So it's the biggest equalizer, I would say. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because even when the world is it's sharing with just about everybody within your country, within cross countries. We are trying to tell each other, it's irrespective of all caste, creed, color. Mm-hmm. And it's a big driving force of unprecedented change across multiple industries, including apparel, of which I'm a part of, and the entire supply chain. Mm-hmm. If we're talking about the industry side of COVID, I would say that the industry has contracted. It's really, really contracted. Within India, we could already feel the steam of the textile and the fashion business ebbing down because of e-commerce and because of certain changes and because of, let's say, the big noise on sustainability. So already since 2017, businesses were ebbing because a lot of companies who could not keep up the sustainability act, they were slowing down. And then if they are slowing down, or like we say, how it starts maybe not just from the top to the bottom, but even from the bottom to the top. So everything was changing. So the industry has contracted, and it has made us rethink what is important and what we should expect from brands. We have to eliminate all negative environmental impacts. So COVID-19 has made sustainability a very much core thing now, very, very core. So we need to combat climate change. We need to restore biodiversity, protect our oceans, take very positive steps, which go beyond any one individual or any one company. So this is about the industry side of COVID-19. However, the personal side of COVID-19, I would say, is that, well, not before the personal, I would, even if you want to ask certain things about, how people have started thinking differently, their goals have changed. So it's not just about industry, it's about even at a personal level, everything is changing. Yeah.
Can you please share with us the story of the award you got for the making a mask, protective masks?
Yes.
Can you please?
So when COVID-19 happened, and we all got to know that this was something nobody understood where it would lead us, and we saw the stock market crashing, and I am an investor. And for me, it was not just my business taking a beating. It was also my investments. So everything was in a bit of a disarray, and I could remember having very heated discussions with my, my personal people in the banks, my RMs, and at that point of time, I thought that the only way out of a situation is not by ducking down, not by not by just reacting. So I thought within myself, what was the next step? And the next step was, of course, to keep the company going, because I didn't want to, my staff, which was working there, I wanted them to stay with me, because we had, I trained them, and we had a long history with us. So what was the most positive thing could be that the company starts making money. So what we did is we took a kind of a license, a license to work from the factory, because I have a factory in Gurgaon, and it's a factory which has 4 floors. One is for machinery, one is where all the stitching is done, then there's the office space, then the packaging, the sampling units, everything. So we had staff. So the point was, now how do we do this? Fortunately, just before COVID, I had thought to myself that I would be outsourcing a lot of my stuff. So by chance, I didn't have so much of labor force, and I'm glad, because it would be so hurting actually to not paying them or removing them. So we started. So I had this guard in the office. His name is Rajesh, and he belongs to a village in Bihar. Bihar is another state in India, another place in India. So he's from Bihar, and now, fortunately, he about a year ago he bought a smartphone, and now the whole story started. So I told Rajesh, and we on a Zoom call with my other merchandising staff. So we decided that we should start making masks, because this is what everybody wanted. So the point was that since I believe in sustainability and recycling and reusing stuff, so I had a lot of fabric in the company over the years in the store. So I told Rajesh that you send me a lot of pictures of the stock, fabrics, because we wanted to make sure that the fabric we pick was breathable. It was the right fabric which would protect the germ. So Rajesh was supercharged. He felt that now, he had some very important things to do because there was nothing to take care in the factory as a guard, because there were no entries, no out people going. So he sent me a lot of pictures, and then our next meeting and the next day was, seeing all those pictures and deciding which fabrics he wanted to use for the masks. And then was, how do we get the pattern to Rajesh? How do we get him the pattern? So then came in our Master G. Master G is the guy who was the pattern master. Mm-hmm. So we reached him and we gave him some specifications. He at home, he made the pattern. And since we had a license in the company to run the machine, so we were allowed to, do things in the sense that we could give out the fabric. We were allowed to do that. We were allowed to share the pattern with, of course, with taking all steps of safety. Mm-hmm. And so we also started making PPE kits in the company. Yeah. And so what happens is, demographically, the whole supply chain has to be maneuvered in a way with safety, but you have a license to do this and you are taught how to do this. So regarding the masks, Rajesh, he gradually, let me tell you also that he learned how to stitch them. So from a simple guard who is taking care of the entries in the factory to actually pick up a skill like tailoring. And he learned that because I told him that he must make as many as he wants and discard them till he feels that they are the right ones. Yeah. So the pattern was certain patterns were made for the masks according to sizes. And then there was a lot of elastic line in the factory in black and white. So these were used. The fabrics were picked up. We made 3-ply masks, mm-hmm. and we put the fiber in between because we already had the PPE stuff fiber with us. And then became this, we put a goal out there on Instagram, on Facebook, on different social media, that we planned to make 100,000 masks. And a part of that earning after paying the tailors, and of course some factory expenses, the part of the of the earnings would go for a particular cause. And this cause was actually for the militant labor, mm-hmm. which was just like Rajesh, who also belonged to Bihar. So there's a lot of militant labor in India who are in the textile stitching business. So we said that we will give them the money if they wanted to go back to the village while the pandemic was on. So let me also share with you, at that point of time, the MIT had come up with an award which is called the Community Choice Award. Mm-hmm. And we won that award. It was called the Millip or Sigma Award. And we were very happy, very encouraged that these were 3 accomplishments we had done. One was, of course, getting the award. 2 was Rajesh, expanding his level of skill. It doesn't matter how many people do it, even if one person in front of me could do it. I saw that as a great opportunity of what can happen, if companies allow their staff to learn, to explore, to experience, to fall, to get up. So mm-hmm. It was wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Can you tell us something about what do you think about empowering women, and what is the minimum of things that we need to do to empower women?
Like we say that half of the world is women, and this is one gender which is not actually used to its optimum. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And women, you see, empowerment is very country and city specific. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If we and country specific, like if I would go back to my life, so I, belonging to urban India, felt so disempowered in a bad marriage. Yeah. And when I came out of it, so my first duty was to empower myself, then my two girls, and then all these women whom I gradually, when I started my factory and I started hiring, so it was 93% it was women who I was hiring. And this was a conscious choice. And this choice came from my own life. Yeah. So what I'm trying to get at is that empowerment is very important. So in my case, at that time, there used to be no mentors, no scaling of businesses was taught. Nobody was there to tell you the pitfalls, the shortfalls, the road maps. So I did it all on my own. I fell, got up, and like we say, for a lot of people who helped me, I am always so grateful. But a lot of people who didn't help me, I'm also grateful to them because they taught me that it was all there inside me, and I could do it. So empowerment at all levels is very, very important, as we see. One woman, if I give my example without any vanity, is one woman could get empowered and she could empower her daughters and then further set up a factory to empower hundreds of other women. So what we are trying to really reach here is that every woman has the capacity to empower herself and then to empower other women in her environment. Now, when we talk about artisanal strength, because I belong to the fashion industry, so we talk about artisanal strength. And here what we're doing now is we're trying to get technology to these artisans. Because you see, when artisans get skilled in technology, so artisanal strength with technology is an answer to hope and solutions in life. So these artisans are now being taught different ways with the help of technology. We teach them about how to run the computers, how to show us pictures, even if they're sitting in the villages, how to show us what they are doing at every stage so that nothing goes wrong. That's one thing, so that we can immediately tell them what's going wrong and they can curb it instead of making the whole thing and we discard it and disempower them. So this is a part of empowerment, that we give them a 5 plan that this is how you need to, whenever a new product is going to be launched, this is how we will tell you to make it, and at every stage you will keep sending us pictures till the time we can actually come and see you. So this is one step. The second is we are telling them with the help of a lot of our buyers, who are sending us pictures of what they want. So I'm like the bridge, our company is like the bridge. We tell the artisans, as an example, a simple thing like rope made of fiber, the fiber coming from the coconut. Now, you see, ropes are no longer so much required, and in the fashion business, they're certainly not. So how this fiber, with the correct way, it had to be constructed so that we could make beautiful macrame bags and sell them for maybe $50-$60 in the US. Yeah. So modifying the product, modifying the artisanal skill, their knowledge, and with the modern context of what the world needs. So this is another way of how we are helping the artisans to empower them. Yeah. And the third is that we are trying to build these connects between the artisans and their families and their children. The children don't want to stay in the villages any longer. They want to run to the urban India to do various other jobs. Okay, it's good. But if they're only doing it because they have nothing better to do, then that's where we want to empower them. Yeah. So we are trying to connect a lot of their children, their young boys, girls, a lot of these older women, they are powerhouses of skill. The kind of embroideries they can do, the kind of knittings they can do, the kind of stuff they can do with their hands, braid it, and all that. So we are trying to now help the younger children to learn all this, and for this we are giving them a good environment. We are, and because the end purpose is that all this reaches us in the factory, and we are able to create business for these people so that they have a good life. So these are different ways of actually empowering. Yeah.
So one thing is to financially empower them, like teach them new skill and train them to do some stuff. But how can we psychologically empower people? When somebody is in problem or in depression or whatever, in some bad mood, it can be just a bad mood. Maybe that person cannot see the end of the problem and they think it's the end of the world. How can we help them to, I don't remember if you remember when we talked, but it's a part of the mental hygiene. It's a part of the mental health. How can we empower people to that sense?
Yeah. So, when we talk about, you and I, we were talking about mental hygiene, and when we talk about mental health, and I said, let's talk about, start with mental hygiene. Now, let's look at a couple of points here. One, first we have to get over the shame of not feeling mentally equipped. In India we have this big noise, it's kind of a little bit sad, but people don't look at other people who are going through mental anguish or going to a psychiatrist, for instance. They are looked down upon. It's like you're incomplete. So we have to now consider that mentally, how do we become adept? Now, what happens is that one is that, you have a mental health problem. All right, it can be solved with two things. We all know that. One is going to a psychiatrist, taking right medicines, and second is to take therapy. Now, these are acute problems, and a lot of people are moving towards this. Now, before I move any further, let me also share that, I have personally, in 2019, I joined as an independent student. I joined a university in Delhi, and it was a study on mental health. And this I did very independently because I didn't give an exam for it, but I wanted to learn more and more about different issues, different health problems, different mental problems. And because, like I told you, in college, I was doing psychology. So it was connected to that I was always interested in mental health. And that kept me in good stead, because even during my traumatic marriage, I tried to, unknowingly, I was doing things to keep myself mentally alert and mentally at peace. And a lot of times I feel that, instead of one of my most important adage for mental health was that don't just keep doing arguments, don't keep shouting, don't keep arguments, because some battles are just won by staying put, by remaining quiet, So I give a lot of importance to that, instead of just responding, instead of reacting. So coming back to mental health, I feel is that, 5 things which I feel are very important, and I practice. And because I practice, and since I'm sharing with you, I would like to tell you. One is that, be spiritual. Whatever energy, whatever you believe in, it's important that you trust, whether you're an atheist or whether you're not. It doesn't matter. But even if you don't believe in God, just believe in yourself, because that is enough. That's something which you see. Yeah. So whatever what is important is that you need to have some faith, you need to have practice, and you need to have some study in the laws of the universe, in the cause and effect theory. So when you believe in these things, when you believe in spirituality, when you believe that whatever seeds you sow, you're going to reap. So whatever good you do, you're going to ultimately benefit by it. Or that when things are not in your hand, you have to trust the universe, because it's where you are, what you're doing, whatever is happening is what is meant to be. So relax. It's not something out of place. It's okay. So whether the COVID came and all that, of course, there are a lot of what's the journey behind it. It's different. We have to talk about sustainability and we have to address those concerns. But whatever you are, wherever you are, whatever situation right now is, that is meant to be. So one, be quiet. If you can change it, change it. If you cannot change it, like the Dalai Lama says, when things cannot be changed, just leave them as they are, and universe will itself take its next step. In the morning when I get up, I always don't just get up with a haste and worry and what's going to happen and this and that. I just get up and I just sit on my bed and I just feel like I have arrived. It's almost like, I don't know where I was while I was sleeping, which dreamland I was, but now today at this moment, I have arrived. So live in a state of mindfulness. I have this very nice guru. He's a young guy and his name is Nitya Shanti. And this is what he taught me, He said that, don't just get up like that. Sit down and say you have arrived. And then maybe, every day, even if you're repeating it, doesn't matter. But give gratitude to 10 things in your life. So that's a very good way to actually be mentally healthy. And whether it's COVID time, yes, all the more. But even if it's not COVID time, get up and say your gratitude to 10 things in life. It could be even the bed you've slept on. It could be the person you love is alive. It's you who are kicking, yeah, and. And all those beautiful things, it could be animate objects, inanimate objects. It could be even the gym machine who you're going to hit after 10 minutes. It could be even the cup of tea which you're going to have. So it's not about animate or inanimate. It's just about everything. And the fourth thing I would say is I've been taught that, like I said, if some of your people who are hearing this could also Google Nitya Shanti, this wonderful, wonderful young teacher. Because, teaching, you have to take from all aspects. You have to be like the little sponge who soaks in everything. So one more thing which I've learned is, to stay detached. Because things will not change. Everything will happen the way it's happening, because there's too much involved in whether it's business, there are too many people involved, whether it's work, whether it's family, it's relationships, too many things involved. So stay a little bit detached in life. Don't get so attached to everything. And yet have a very dynamic engagement in life. Don't just let be. Don't just think now, if I'm saying detached, doesn't mean that don't do things. Do things, but don't be so worried about the outcomes, So don't worry. If the outcome is as you want, okay, celebrate, be happy. If the outcome is not what you want, stay a little bit detached, because nothing is permanent. There's day, there's night. Every cloud has a silver lining. So things will happen. Just work a little bit more in that direction. Either you get what you want or something better will emerge automatically, around you. Yeah. And one more thing, a fifth thing which I would say is, about we are a sum total, we have our 5 senses, so everything is about our senses, and a lot of times we feel jealous of what we could not achieve and maybe our neighbor has got. Like there's this famous thing that today I bought a smaller car and was very happy because I had a cycle as an example, and I bought this car and we were celebrating till the morning. I peeped out of the window and saw my neighbor in a bigger car and my car held no significance. So what I'm trying to say is, let's not be jealous. There's this, if you've heard of William Shakespeare, so there's this play called Hamlet, and it's said that, that jealousy, at first it burns you inside. It goes through your heart. So stop feeling jealous. So when I say stop feeling jealous, I mean to say is, now mind is a monkey. So we need to give something else to the mind. So when I say stop being jealous is, tell your mind 2 things, maybe 2 things you can. Like I say, our or maybe I've experienced this in my life, is that if I feel that I'm in a situation where there's competition, so if you and you see that your opponent is there, and you have to wish well in your life. Like I said, cause and effect. So whatever cause you create, you have an effect. So when you see an opponent, it must be very difficult to say all the best to you. It is difficult, but it's important. It's important that you say all the best to you for two reasons. Like I said, that it's cause and effect. So when you say it, somewhere automatically universe is listening, and you are going to get some benefit out of that. So you can even say to yourself, you can say good luck to you, and you can even say to yourself better luck to you. So it's almost like you don't wish the world bad, but you can wish yourself the best. So and second, that if you feel that the other person, and never give up even till the end when something is happening. Like I heard this once, I heard it or read it somewhere, that there was this team which was playing basketball, and this boy was watching from the school team playing, and they were losing badly. And the opponent, the team guy, comes to him and he says, "Hey guy, you guys have lost. You'll never be able to make it because the score is 4-1. So this guy says, hold on, man. The whistle hasn't blown. So don't give up. Don't give up till the end. So develop that mental strength, not to give up till the end. So mental hygiene is very important, in the sense that follow certain of the things. Like I said, follow that. Don't be jealous. Wish well. Get up in the morning. Be grateful. Don't meditate, be conscious, be mindful of what you're doing. If things don't happen your way, it's okay, because there's a better plan there. And things will happen, work out something to your benefit. Just don't give up till the end, till the whistle, and just don't give up. Don't give up. So, I didn't give you my regular answers or replies, because I believe that, life and experiences are very personal. So I have tried to tell you what I feel works, which has worked for me. So if it has worked for me, it might work for some people.
Of course, I agree. We all speak from our personal perspectives. You cannot speak from other people's perspective, because you're speaking from your personal perspective. So Anu, who would say, but we actually almost came to the end of our conversation. I would really like to ask you one more question, because I know that you run that 3A clothing business, and that it's more than 20 years now. But can you tell us what changed in this 20 years, and what is happening with this fast fashion? Is it something that is that people are becoming more aware of, or can you just share some thoughts on this
Yes,
topic?
certainly. I must tell you that, the name of my company I would like to share with you is 3A Clothing Company. 3 is in numeric 3, A as in America, and clothing company. So you can even go to my website and you can see we have a lot of information of what we do. We have information on the CSR activities. And I've also have another, parallel thing which I do in the company, and it's called Anu Chadha Global, wherein we are trying to get as many SME companies reach out to us, and we are creating these country collaborations, or even within my country, we are creating collaborations. We are helping SMEs to come under our platform, so that we can help them how to take. If it's a new business, it's very difficult to actually invest in social media, to invest in a lot of learning. So we tell them that we have walked this path. So come to us, we will help you take pictures. We have in-house studios. We will float you on different e-commerce sites as per your need. We do all the photoshopping, the content. We help you with some content writing. So, those are things which are being done under Anu Chadha Global. And I'm very happy, and I look forward that more and more people come under this. And this is being done at a very fractional cost of what it would cost in the markets. So when people reach out, we are trying to help them get into all these collaborations, get them into various schemes, get them grants from the government, get them reimbursement done for various things. Also, I would tell you that before I tell you a little bit more about how businesses have changed and about the fast fashion, I would also tell you that I'm a WEP signatory, which means I'm a part of the UN Women. So WEP signatory means it's a part of women's empowerment principles which we follow, and within the company and within even our life and learnings and teachings. I mentor young companies. Some of it is pro bono, some of it is through Nexus. Nexus is a mentoring group. I'm one of the mentors in their group. So I'm like I said, I'm part of the United Nations Women Industry Disruptor Program, what the COVID has done to disrupt the industry. So we talk about that on world stage. My presentations are even put on United Nations platform to go through how a simple business organically came up and what all they are doing. I'm hugely into gender equality because I believe that gender equality is non-binary. And and I also believe in the triple bottom line, which is people, planet, and profit. So I'm trying to do all that I want to get more and more into actually talking about these things and making action plans with people who matter. Now, when we talk about how businesses have changed and about the fast fashion, I would say that fast fashion is all about, our inner foolishness, I would say. We have so much, when you open the cupboards, we have so much of clothing, so much of fashion, so much of things. You go to the kitchen, you'll have umpteen number of utensils. So it's about consumeristic behavior. So I talk about 5 things. I always talk about, fast fashion can be curbed through the brands who understand this, through the government policies, through factories, who are producing all this, through the consumers. 4 things, sorry, and through the consumers primarily. The consumers have to understand that if we believe in goodness, if we believe in nature, if we believe in creating happiness around, we have to be sustainable. And sustainability means that you watch what you buy. Watch if you need it. Take pride in what you have. Because when you take pride, when you watch, you are becoming mindful. So when you're doing these things, you're also actually becoming mindful in life, in various areas of your life. So fast fashion, our own government in India has come up with this big program called the Jal Jeevan Abhiyan. And here we are trying to preserve every drop of water. And we are taking external help from countries outside India to understand what techniques they are using. So we have to understand that too much consumerism causes landfills. And when landfills happen, that's how we have all these tsunamis and we have all these various natural disasters. So more and more organic cotton is being used. The government is giving help to farmers, and more knowledge is being given to in each industry, whether it's aviation, whether it's textile, whether it's the coal industry, or how to be sustainable. So it's also the 2030 United Nations plan for sustainable world. So fast fashion has to be curbed from the consumer level. That's my learning, and that's what I talk about even in my own small groups, that there's really no need to buy unless you really have to buy, And So that's my take. I don't know how much time you have. I can keep talking.
Well, we actually, thank you. We actually scratched the surface. So this topic is very wide, and we could be actually talking for hours about this, because it tackles many problems. It's not isolated problem, because everything is in connection with this. Yeah, it's interconnected.
Yes.
So thank you, Anu. Thank you very much. Thank you for your knowledge, for your expertise, and for your kind soul. You shared some very thoughtful, some very deep thoughts with me and with our listeners and viewers.
Thank you so much, Sanja. I'm so happy that we met with the IBAC platform, and we're taking this forward. That's the whole intention.
Yes.
Take all our learnings forward. Thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you. Good people, you were listening and watching to Anu from India, from Delhi. You can always follow us on social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just type Mondopreneur or #Mondopreneur. Stay good, stay in good health, and see you in a week.